But here's what the problem it's created on a personal level is, like, I can't go hug my father. I can't go sit in my father's living room. I want to spend as much time with him as I can now because I'm not going to have him forever. But I physically can't do it because we're still social distancing. And so what we're talking about now is, using Zoom to have that deeper conversation in business and personal relationships on a go-forward basis. So yeah, let's talk about it.
Let's talk about Zoom in general with groups. And by the way, what an opportunity or a nudge right now to go and connect with a bunch of people that you haven't connected with. When I had a few connection calls over Zoom early on during the pandemic, I was like, oh, this is really good. And I started wondering, why hasn't my high school done this?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
What? We couldn't get a reunion together for the last 15 years. Why the hell hasn't someone said, hey, I'm going to be on Zoom at this time. Who wants to come? We'll do 60 minutes together. So I went and set up a call for my class of 84. And then I'm a member of something called the Transformational Leadership Council, which is a group of thought leaders. And we get together once or twice a year to come together as a family, but it costs a lot of money to fly around the world and go and take a week out and do all that.
Right.
Why don't we have a Zoom call every couple of months? And so I pitched that and I held the call and it went really well.
There you go.
So, and then my family. I haven't been to a family reunion for years and years, and I live in a different country. How is it never occurred to me or anybody, let's just have a Zoom call for 60 minutes. So I did it. We all showed up. We all had a great time. And someone's like, we should do this weekly. I said, well, slow down, Tiger.
Yeah.
That might be a little bit too much, but this is an opportunity to bring together groups that you may not have brought together. Now, let's say you've done it. You've got the group. It might be a group of prospects. It might be bringing your clients together. It might be a team building talk. It might be a regular meeting that you have with your team. Here are some simple things you can do. And I'll go back to the 3 steps: curiosity, reflection, and impact. So the simple version, firstly, the principle of focused attention is so beautiful in groups. And you need it in Zoom in particular. If you've just got different people talking at a family reunion or at a networking thing, that's good and that's valuable. But when you stop and slow it down and one person gets the limelight, that's a beautiful thing. Someone did it at my birthday party and just said, can I have everybody's attention? I want to go around the room and just have everyone say, what brought you here tonight?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness. I've got goosebumps.
Yeah. Wow.
It was so connecting that we all got to have, because it's a common experience now. We're all having the experience of listening to Jim, right?
Yeah.
And Jim gets to speak and Jim gets to be heard by everybody. So that's the first simple thing you can do. Go around the room. If you've got, say, less than 12 people, go around the room. Everybody gets a minute or two to answer a prompt. And look, you could go with a prompt from the Get Real app.
Yeah.
What would you like people to say about your funeral? Or you can pick a lighter question. Or it could be something like, what am I most looking forward to even during the pandemic, right? Something uplifting.
Yeah.
Or just a general check-in. What are you arriving with is a great thing. So people get to just release, I've just been stressed, whatever. I'm looking forward to chilling now with you guys, whatever. So the principle of focused attention is one simple thing you can do. And then a second thing, which is so easy, breakout rooms. Yeah. If you haven't discovered them yet on Zoom, give people a chance to interact and have them, I'm going to break you all now into rooms of 2. And here's a question for you to ask each other. And boom, just bust out something from the app.
Yeah, I love it. I love the idea. I'm thinking in my head as you're talking about like my own team, right? In the last 8 to 10 weeks at the office, we haven't really had like a big team meeting or talked about anything personal, when we're here at the office and everyone's around and going to the coffee and this and that, morning, afternoon, people start talking about like real personal stuff, like somebody just got married or engaged and somebody else is pregnant and going to have their second kid, and those things are coming up. And as we've had our business meetings on Zoom the last 8 or 10 weeks and everyone's working from home, those personal interactions and questions are just less and less and less. Because it's like, okay, we're on the line. We kind of have an agenda. We've got to get this meeting done. We've got 30 minutes or an hour to get it done. Let's just jump in. And I haven't really done a great job kind of reflecting while we're recording here on this podcast. I haven't really done a great job of, asking new questions and having people have an opportunity to talk about personal things. And really, like we talked about at the beginning, it's those personal connections that have people say, man, I love this business. And what you really want as a CEO is for people to say, I love working for Josh. I love working for this company. Well, the reason why they love it is not because the work that they do. It's typically because of the interaction with the other people. It's the reason why they love the company. So it's the conglomerate of the mishmash of all the people that makes the company, and people love the company because they love the people. And in the last 8 to 10 weeks, it's been very difficult for people to kind of connect on that personal level. So as we're thinking here and talking, like I'm reflecting that, wow, like I wonder if people really love working here like they used to, because we haven't had any of that personal conversation. So as I look at the Get Real.life app, I keep looking at the team building one, the little team building dot, and thinking, God, we got to have a Zoom call with just our people, do it as a team building. It'll be fun. There'll be some weird questions or some things that are off the cuff that people aren't used to talking about for the last 8 to 10 weeks. And that's what provides and creates the connectivity. So we're going to have to do this and use it as soon as possible, because I feel like we're missing that. This gives us a real tactical way to bring everybody back together.
Yes. And if you want to do a team building call, you can either have someone come in and facilitate it for you, or take people through the 3 steps that I mentioned. So you can use the Get Real app as the initial question, and maybe that's the first round. The people just get used to that. But then you can add on steps 2 and 3. Have people, when they hear the answer, have them practice reflecting. And maybe that's round 2. And then maybe for round 3, they do reflecting and then they share impact. Hearing that from you, this is how I feel. It's a beautiful thing. And Josh, you said it so well. I'm going to use some different words. Companies tend to be too transactional.
Mm-hmm.
Someone said to me once, David, you can occur as very transactional. And I was so confused, because my question was, what else is there? What do you mean? What are you talking about? And what I got to realize is the masculine, and I'm very left brain and masculine in my energy. I just, let's get shit done. Here we are. Come on, boom, boom, boom. We've got 10 minutes for this. What's the most efficient way to do it? What do you need? What do you need? Boom, let's go. Right? I'm a very get it done kind of guy. And what was happening is I was missing the person. I wasn't taking a little time out just purely for the sake of relating.
Right.
And so I think companies might get a little hung up, if they're anything like me, on just being transactional. And that's valuable. We need that. We need the transactional. But let's be aware of when we're being transactional, when we're being relational, and take a little time out. Hey, I want to take a couple of minutes just to get to know you before we start talking business. Is that all right? Or, hey, before we get into what needs doing, can I ask you about how your kid's doing and your wife? I got a client whose wife's got COVID-19, right? Take a little time to be relational. So now I'm choosing when to be relational, and then I might be like, I'd like to get into this more, and I know we've only got 20 minutes left. Is it okay if we start talking business? Now I'm setting context and being relational about the fact that now I want to be transactional.